All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to the final block of matches for the Mania 7 Key World Cup 2026 edition. This block of matches has two matches. Both of them right smack dab in the middle of the seeds. We got Spain versus Sweden as our first 15 versus 18 seed, which will be followed immediately by Germany versus Mexico, our 14 and 19 seeds. So two quite close matches to go through. This one, like I said, Spain versus Sweden. I will be one of your commentators for this, joined here by Sparky. How's it going?
It's going absolutely fantastic. And like you were saying, it's like this is almost as close as we can mathematically get without it being a 16 versus 17 matchup. I mean, this is hopefully going to come down to the wire. We've already seen a tiebreaker this round already. Excited to see if maybe we get another one.
We've seen 3 tiebreakers this round already.
Oh my goodness! Oh
yeah, there have been some crazy matchups so far.
Oh my god! If that's gonna set the stage for the rest of the rounds, this tournament, then I am very, very excited. But looks like we're gonna get this one underway. The rolls are gonna come through here in just a little bit, and I think in your excitement, you forgot to tell everybody your name. Who are you?
I did say my name. Don't think I did.
Did you?
You just weren't listening.
I just wasn't paying attention. Oh my god.
Everyone knows.
Listen.
I definitely said it. I'm not gonna be gaslit here by my co-commentator about whether or not I said my name in a routine that I've had for the last 7 years. We're not gonna do that right now.
Listen, I haven't done this. I can't say it anymore now because I literally commentated the last match. But it's like I've literally haven't done this since last year. You gotta cut me some slack, man.
you gotta shake off the rust a little bit.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, I am just excited to be here right now. We've got the rolls coming through here. It looks like the protects are already coming through. Looks like Hybrid 2 got protected. LN2 got protected. Rice 1 is going to be banned out.
Actually, interesting to see a Hybrid and a Long Note pick getting protected out. I would have expected Spain to probably stick around protecting the LNs, which they still went in the hybrid direction, which makes sense. Sweden, on the other hand, going for an LN protect themselves, a little more surprising. I wouldn't say that they're weak at hybrids or long notes. It's just Spain is much stronger at long notes than everything else based on their qualifier results. So I'm a little surprised to see Sweden gung-ho, in a sense, to kind of keep one of the toughest LN picks open.
Yeah, and in response, LN1 going to be the ban for Spain and going to go for Rice 2 to start things off here. So already right out of the gate, a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely a surprise. I can't say that it's necessarily bad pick. You're talking about dense court string here. This is, other than Rice 4, probably the easiest map to get good accuracy on. And if there's anything that Spain's going to be comfortable with in Rice Pool, I think this is going to be it.
Yeah, and we'll just have to wait and see if maybe they, depending on how this goes, maybe this is a bit of like a tone setter type of a pick. I mean, it's the first pick in this tournament run that they're about to embark on, so why not go with something a little bit more standard, something everybody can kind of swing a relatively decent score on, I would imagine. Like you were saying, outside of like Rice 4, this is basically bread and butter for everybody in this round, so maybe just want to leave it up to the accuracy, let that do the talking a little bit, and basically slug it out on the LN and hybrids as needed later on in this match.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Spain did protect one of the hybrids, so they're potentially looking to go in that direction. Let's the other way around. I keep forgetting which way it went. Okay, I was right. They did protect the hybrid. I'm not going crazy. So I've got
them. I've got the memory of a goldfish right now, it feels like, so I'm relying on you to be our memory.
I'm doing what I can, but in the meantime, we've got a map started here. Spain's first pick going to stick with the Rice Pool, trying to avoid those long notes if they can. But Sweden with a little bit of an opening lead here just based on accuracy. Erase Self having the strongest accuracy in the lobby, though that was just eclipsed by fittingly Summit. with the 99.83, and it looks like Spain may have just had a little bit of a rough start, though everyone's accuracy is kind of evening out at this point.
Absolutely. I imagine this is going to be the mark to hit right now, with that 99.7 kind of being the average for this lobby as it stands right now. Erase Self being the only one lagging a little bit behind, just about 0.1%. Lucas not too far ahead of them, so definitely within catching range, and it's definitely keeping the Spanish lead in check for the moment. Only about 1,000 points as it starts to swing back and forth as we approach the halfway point of the map, but Venya is going to be the first one finding a drop in the lobby, and that'll give Spain a tiny bit of a cushion to work with going into this back half.
Yeah, you can actually see Lucas having a little bit of trouble maintaining their accuracy at this point. Lowest in the lobby right now, even with Venya's finding the drop. So Sweden, especially now with at max combo bonus on both their players, could start swinging this back if they're able to tighten up their accuracy a little bit. But Summit with the 99.84 looks like they're doing enough to keep the lead just about stable at that 6,000 mark. Though we still have the hardest section of this map left. The densest section comes in this last quarter and could be where we see some mistakes, but a double full combo from Spain would be enough as long as they don't find any major accuracy drops. And here we go, the densest section starting up, everyone transitioning into it well, but Spain looking even stronger, keeping their accuracy where it needs to be and extending that lead actually, as we see Erase Self drop quite a bit of accuracy despite not losing the full combo. Still loses enough accuracy that Spain now has even more of a cushion. It looks like they're going to be able to take a very strong opening point.
One last one for the road from Venya's, but the damage was already done. That singular miss from, or the couple of misses from them being more than enough to be the deciding factor here, might have been a different tale if they had managed to hang on, but that performance from Summit is ridiculous. A 995k earning the MVP and that first point in this match to make it 1-0.
Yeah, absolutely. Great performance to put up, and a bit of confidence under Spain's belt to get that point early on. And Sweden with a chance to do the same. They had the Protect on that long note 2 pick, one of the hardest long note picks of the weekend, certainly the least popular as far as I've been able to tell. That coordination requirement is just so high, and you could expect Sweden to want to stick around that range, maybe stick with the LN2, LN3 pick. You could see them maybe trying to go with EX2 if they're feeling comfortable on the long notes in this, but that map in particular, I think, starts to dig into where Spain is more comfortable on the long note side. So we'll have to see how their strategy kind of develops as the match goes forward.
For sure, it'll be interesting to see how the overall picks will begin to evolve as things come through here. And I mean, honestly, I'm surprised that none of the EXs were looked at in terms of protector bans. Last match was right as I was saying it. All right, I guess they heard me.
Definitely
EX2 going to be the pick for Sweden.
Definitely not my expected pick here. I thought this would have been more risky, though it does have a little bit of that coordination aspect I think that Sweden will be looking for against a team like Spain. And it's certainly more coordination heavy than LN3. The difficulty jumping up a little bit, as you know, it is in the extreme pool, sort of plays into Spain's abilities. They might not have done well on the really hard LN pick or the more accuracy-based one in qualifiers, but that middle ground was right in their comfort zone. So it'll be interesting to see if Sweden can really push Spain to their limits here on this EX2 pick.
For sure, this is definitely going to be the first major test, I imagine, for both squads, because this could very much be a bit of a double-edged sword. It's like, yes, it's a harder pick. You might push the consistency from Spain a little bit, but you also got to be able to perform on it as well if you're going to be so bold as to choose it, especially as an opening pick to start off the match. So go look to Sweden. Looks like we're going to see Krati come in for Erase Self. Lucas and Summit going to be staying for Spain, and Venya's for Sweden sticking around as well as we get this one underway.
And here we go. A little bit of a lighter start to this, some coordination aspect to it, but not too much. And we see all four players having a quite comfortable time so far. The main difference maker right now, just like it was on the previous pick, is Summit with that high accuracy. And now Crady, just after the 400 combo mark is reached, does find the first combo break of this map and gives Spain an even bigger advantage on top of the accuracy lead that they have.
Yeah, everybody's settling in with their full combos. Crady once again finding another drop, not able to really establish a foothold so far. Gonna give Spain a bit more of a cushion to work with. Venya's falls as well as we transition back into more of what we have been seeing already in this chart, and Spain the beneficiaries of it. 17,000 points to the good through this first third of the map. Both FCs intact and some really good accuracy to boot as well.
Yeah, not even counting the misses, the accuracy advantage definitely well in favor of Spain at this point, and Crady unable to find a lot of consistency here with a third miss there. Summit does trade that one back, so Spain's down to one full combo halfway through this map, but they're going to need to find a lot more misses if Sweden wants to start coming back in this map. Still a 20,000 point lead, and still the accuracy well in favor of Spain so far.
Yeah, just a classic case of one player picking up the pieces when the other one falters ever so slightly. And I mean, it is ever so slightly. Summit's still ahead in terms of accuracy in comparison to their counterpart. I say that it's now tied for both of them. And despite Venus' best efforts on the other side with that 99.5 leading the charge in terms of overall accuracy, it's just the misses that have been their undoing on the side of Sweden. And it's basically accounting for the majority of this 15,000 point lead Spain is now enjoying going into this outro.
Yeah, Venues is going to find a miss. I was just about to mention it. Looked like that lead was starting to shrink a little bit. Accuracy for the side of Spain was starting to drop a little bit, but without finding any misses. I was going to say, but Summit a little too late. Oh, finds a few more. It does shrink a little bit, but the early misses from Sweden going to be a little bit too much for Sweden to overcome, and Spain's going to get an early break point.
Yeah, in a different world, that could have been a bit of a heart and mouth moment, but Spain was just resting on their laurels a little bit at that ending. So no harm, no foul at the end of the day, but definitely don't want to get a little too lackadaisical moving forward here, because those could have consequences further on down the line. But for right now, breakpoint in the bag for Spain, and their pick once again, an opportunity to potentially capitalize and go 3 to the good on Sweden to start this match off.
Yeah, definitely a great opportunity for Spain. They've got plenty of rice picks to look at if they want to go that direction. They did protect Hybrid too, so I wouldn't be surprised to necessarily see them pick that to really establish that lead. But Rice went well for them last time, so I would kind of expect to see something like Rice 3 or Rice 5 come out here. I don't know if Rice 4 gets picked at all by Spain in this match, just because I think that's too much of a coin flip because of how little the score differences are on a map like that.
Yeah, it was maybe a bridge too far to hope that they would go just absolute hog wild and go for Rice 4. Rice 3 feels like the more sensible pick for Spain, just given how Rice 2 went, maybe just wanting to keep things relatively the same. This is just we had dense core stream, now we have faster core stream. The BPM ticked up quite a bit to 170, but more of the same in terms of pattern structure. It's just, can you handle the BPM increase, and the fact that the song is markedly shorter, close to TV size even, means mistakes will be amplified, it feels like, as we really dig into the map itself. So potential for wild swings, but with the way these guys have been playing, I imagine they'll be few and far between.
Yeah, as you mentioned, lighter chord stream, the shorter map, which means that the total note count is going to be less, and that, as you mentioned, does mean mistakes are going to be more pronounced. And on the previous pick, we only saw Sweden find any major mistakes on that chord stream pick. So Spain looking to see that again and hopefully lock down this pick, though. Sweden's accuracy was not too far off of them. So if they're not able to find any mistake, if Spain is not able to see any mistakes from Sweden, this could be a lot closer than you would initially expect.
Absolutely. So getting this one underway, it's gonna be everybody kind of settling in through this opening gauntlet of an introduction and kind of settle into their relative accuracy ranges. I imagine we'll see more of the same. Everybody within about 0.1% of each other, and just overall average accuracy going to be the main determining factor, where we might have like somebody being a standout and then somebody just lagging a little bit behind, and that'll make things a little bit interesting through this introduction, as we see now under 1,000 points between both teams, and we're already a third of the way through the map.
Yeah, this one really just comes and goes. We're seeing the accuracies even out a little bit. Venya's and Summit right around the same at that mid 99.8s. Erase Self trying to catch up to Lucas right now, slightly behind, and actually catching up now. These accuracies are neck and neck. The only difference being Summit slightly ahead of the other two Swedish players. And this lead is nothing going into the last third as that density starts to pick up. More accuracy drops coming from the side of Sweden, but still within a mistake of difference. Boy, it is still so close.
It is hundredths of a percent separating both of these teams, but right now Spain just ever so slightly ahead. There's just these little micro mistakes. I dare not even call them mistakes. It's just rushes of 300s right now from particular players, and people just picking up their accuracy at the final moments here. But Spain going to be able to close this one out. 4,000 points to mark as all four players hang on to their FCs, and by God, what scores are we seeing here?
Yeah, that's a four-way full combo. Scores just in general really close to each other. Summit just about 1,000 points ahead of Venya's, and the big difference there, it was the ending where Lucas was able to take a 3,000 point lead over Erase Self. But singular mistakes would have been enough, so Spain locking in, managing to get that double full combo and secure the lead, gives it a 3-0 advantage in this matchup. And Sweden now on the back foot a little bit, but they do have their pick to try and get themselves on the board.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to go for here. EX2, maybe a bridge too far in terms of trying to test Spain, perhaps. So maybe gonna opt for something a little bit different. Given how Rice 3 went, maybe some confidence that if they can maybe catch Spain out on a mistake, they can take advantage of that. But outside of that, I mean, we haven't touched the hybrids yet. The LNs haven't been touched outside of the ban. Don't know if they'd want to chance it, but at this point, gotta find something here before these picks run out. So LN2.
So something I was actually going to think about, I was going to say that LN2 seems like the most obvious pick, which Sweden is going to go with. Something else that you might even think about in this situation is that once they finish this pick by Sweden, there's another set of bans.
Yep.
So strategy-wise, it would have maybe made sense for Sweden to go for LN3 if they felt confident that they could beat Spain on that. Because that would mean that once the second ban phase comes out, Spain doesn't have a long no pick to ban again. They would have to go with something else in the pool, since LN2 is protected. That's out the window now with Sweden having picked LN2. Once this happens, Spain will get the chance to ban LN3 if they feel like they need to. But it's just an interesting thought process potentially to have, and I think that's going to come into play more so as the rounds continue.
For sure. So, I mean, at the very least, on the other side, this is Sweden's protect, so maybe just wanting to get a point on the board with something that they feel confident on, at least confident enough to protect. And based on the reactions of the players in the lobby, maybe they've found something here, which I have to wait and see. This is coordination, and we're already starting to see it come to fruition here. Summit with some early drops through this opening, Crady trading them back, but already Sweden going to be nursing a very healthy advantage through this introduction alone.
Yeah, that miss from Summit was not huge, but it definitely put them on the back seat. Lowest accuracy in the lobby. Crady's a little bit cleaner. On top of Venya's just having an incredible accuracy with Lucas matching that miss. Crady does trade it yet again, but that was a much bigger miss from Lucas than Crady again. Crady now with 2 misses, but both of them a lot cleaner than their Spanish counterparts. And Venya's, again, still just holding this absurd accuracy with the full combo. But another miss from Crady does start to shrink that lead, and it looks like Spain might be able to take the advantage despite the accuracy lead in favor of Sweden.
Yeah, that's really one where the misses begin to pile up. There isn't that high of a note density in this chart, so any free time you get above that 400 combo cap that isn't answered back by an opponent, I was just about to say Summit being the one doing that for Spain, but finding the drop on the transition into the last third of the map is going to help restore this lead that Sweden had bled over. Another couple of drops from them going to help extend this lead now. 20,000 points to the good for the Swedes. As we continue on, Venya's just on a tear right now, climbing up to 99.7% accuracy, on pace for a 990k, while everybody else is just trying to find some semblance of footing. Crady now above that 400 combo cap, able to lend some support to Venya's, but the damage is being done here in this outro.
Yeah, despite the early errors from Crady, they were able to pull themselves together and actually full combo through the hardest part of that map, while Spain was starting to have their biggest issues, and that, despite looking like a potentially risky pick in the middle of it, does end up being the most confident pick of the match so far. 70,000 points in favor of Sweden, and it makes more sense now why they protected that.
Yeah, when you have a player that can pull off a score like Venya's, I do not blame them for protecting that. So, with that being said, 3-1, we move on to the second round of bans. Both teams gonna have an opportunity to remove one more pick from this pool. And now that we have some context as to
100 roll.
Oh, I mean, surely we don't see 200s.
Surely not.
How about a 1?
That would be pretty good.
I mean, listen, you're telling me there's a 1% chance that they can hit this.
Technically, there's a 2% chance if you count 1 and 100 as interesting rolls.
Fair. All right, Spain, you got the opportunity. One shot.
Lucas not even wanting to roll, just deciding that they're gonna. Okay, they did. 13. They got the 13, so Lucas will get the chance to ban their next pick, I believe. I don't think EX1 would be their ban. I would expect Spain to ban out LN3 here.
Yeah,
or maybe EX3. I could see that as well.
Yeah, there's a pretty good argument to be made for EX3 also. Just the fact that it's been dubbed basically the mini tiebreaker. Looks like Sweden going to remove Hybrid 3 from the pool. While all of that was going on, Spain, second ban. I mean, Lucas said EX1. It wasn't officially asked of them, but if they were to say it again, would help
if they
solidify
say it again, I don't think Spain wants to ban EX1 though. That doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, we've seen some weird things in the past. I'm just spitballing here. LN3 feels like the right decision, but Hybrid 1.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, okay. Spain's next pick.
Spain wanted to pick EX1. That's what I thought was happening, and they were just confused about the format.
Okay. I mean, it is relatively new. It's important to read what the referee's asking instead of just trying to jump into it.
True.
So
I think to your ref, folks. Listen to them,
please.
And your lives will be easier.
We're dismantling years of muscle memory. But regardless, we got through it. EX1 is going to be the pick for Spain. More what we were expecting. It would have been really surprising if that was going to be the ban, so I'm glad it wasn't.
Definitely would have been. We're going to be going into a bit of a mixed Rice pick and the most physically demanding pick of the Rice pool, though. I mentioned this in one of the previous matches. This one, a little easier to act than some of the... I honestly think this map is easier to get good accuracy on than Rice 5, especially if you have the physical capabilities. So I'm not too surprised to see Spain pick this over Rice 5 or 4.
Fair enough, fair enough. We'll have to see if they can perform on it. I mean, given the way they've been performing so far, little doubt that they can swing it out, but don't want to count out Sweden on a potential upset on this breakpoint potential, but we'll have to wait and see. Getting this one started, we see Erase Venya's the de facto, I guess, Rice roster for Sweden, and Summit and Lucas just in it for the long haul here for Spain.
Here we go, intro coming out of the way. Just about to hit 400 combo for everyone, no breaks yet, and Spain with a slight accuracy lead off the back of Erase Self, just being a little bit behind everyone else in the lobby. Venya's, though, keeping up and actually having the highest accuracy in the lobby, helping Sweden keep this very close right now.
Yeah, there are a couple of chords there in that introduction to Erase Self, just kind of, I don't want to say futz their way through, but definitely a spree of 200s coming through from them, amounting to this accuracy drop that they are experiencing right now. About a 10th to 2/10 behind, at least a 10th behind Lucas for the moment, but it's still keeping Spain within catching distance, 1,400 points. The fact that Venya's is able to be ahead of both Summit and Lucas right now definitely helping right now as Erase Self kind of plays this game of catch up to shrink this lead, and the onus really falls on Spain to maintain pace through this back half here.
Ooh, unfortunately, we do see a little bit of an accuracy drop there from Venya's. It actually drops below Summit's accuracy. Trying to build that back up, but the lead's still just about 2,500 points. We have a third of the map left, and the ending of this map does get a little bit harder. The density starts to spike a little bit, but Erase Self doing what they can to catch it back up, and Venya is trying to keep themselves ahead of Spain. But that's not going to be enough if we don't see any more mistakes from Spain that lead just now around 3,500 points. One miss could be the difference maker, but so far no one has wanted to blink. A four-way full combo going into the ending, and all the pressure is on Sweden to keep this up, and Spain just needs to hold their composure, and they should be able to take this. But we have the hardest material here with the speed up as we go. Everyone able to hold onto their combos so far. Just a few patterns left, and this accuracy actually dropping on the side of Sweden. That lead starting to increase a lot, and might be at a point where a miss won't even matter, but this might just be a four-way full combo on the hardest Rice pick of the pool.
Oh my goodness. All four players managed to survive that onslaught. A four-way FC separated just by the accuracy. Spain managing to pull it out. 8,000 points does not do justice as to how close that felt for large majorities of that map. But I mean, when it came down to it, Spain really showing what they are made of as they make it a match point situation here. Alrighty, so mercifully, Sweden is up to pick next. We get to see what they decide to go for here, but backs against the wall time. Managed to secure the first point on their side, on their protect. They have LN3 left on the table here, so definitely some options for them to go into. Hybrid 2, maybe an outside consideration. There are some gambly type picks as well if they've wanted to try their luck a little bit, but for right now, it definitely, this is the de facto most crucial pick for them if they want to keep this match going. There really is no other option at this point.
Yeah, I think LN3 almost certainly has to be the pick at this point. I don't know if they would want to go into Spain's protect at this point. I think it's safest to go with LN3. I could see them in World going with EX3, trying to push some combo issues onto Spain if they can. But I just don't see Sweden wanting to go with that until their backs are really against the wall. But Rise 4 actually going to be coming out, sensing a little bit of discomfort from Spain, who decided not to go with any of the Rice pool and opting for EX1 instead, and wanting to push the accuracy to its limits and potentially hope for some mistakes from Spain that Sweden could take advantage of.
This feels very much like taking the glove off and like throwing it down, like, all right, we're going to settle this in the cleanest way we can think of. We're just going to play Korjak, and if your accuracy is higher, so be it. But by God, we're going to settle this one way or another.
Yeah, it definitely is one of those positions where Sweden almost feels pressured to make a pick like this, where they're going a little bit outside of their comfort zone and don't want to give Spain the comfort of an easier long note pick, and instead want to put the pressure on them to have, one, really, really strong accuracy, and two, not make any mistakes on a map where one miss will be enough to swing the lead over to Sweden's side.
For sure. I feel like last match we saw like the quintessential Korjak score of all time. Somebody hit 6 300s and 2 50s.
That tracks. That is maybe the most Korjak score of all time.
So we'll have to wait and see. Erase self. Oh, okay.
With me.
That definitely something. All right.
I don't know what's happening here. Is that in the board? I can't tell.
It's definitely a good question, but yeah, there was.
Yeah, it looks like they had a keyboard issue to start off the map.
Yeah, there's no more worrying sound than a USB disconnect sound when playing this game. I hope it wasn't something like that, where it was just like if it's wireless, like the signal being lost, or just something. But it was inside 30 seconds. It was like literally right inside.
It was like the second no. It was like the second no. We're not gonna worry about that.
Yeah. The specifics.
We actually saw Summit find a miss, and he's saying that there's a lag spike. So I guess it's beneficial to both teams that we got this reset.
Yeah, it's one of those. We mulligan. We go again.
Mulligan. This is a friendly mulligan here.
Yes. So we'll see. We'll see. Second time of asking. Some good, clean Korjak play. Looks like things are normal. No wild, everybody missing. So I think we're good here.
With me.
As we settle in here through this first quarter of the map, it's basically kind of a heart and mouth moment. Kind of hold your breath, hope that nobody spikes a note anywhere at any given time. Everybody in and around that 99.85 marker. 3 players above 99.9 is the difference between Erase Self and Lucas right now, making the difference for Sweden, and it's only 1,000 points, give or take, right now.
Yeah, these Korjak maps are just so stressful to watch because they're about perfection. Anything less than perfection is enough to give the lead over to the opposing players. And I don't know, every time I'm like holding my breath and watching these players play Korjaks, I'm always so scared I'm going to see the red highlight on their name. And it almost feels like I'm playing a horror game just watching this happen. Sweden's still holding on to the lead, but there it is! Lucas is going to find the break, and Sweden going to start taking a bigger advantage out of that and give themselves a little bit of cushion now.
Yeah, they were the one lagging a little bit behind in terms of overall accuracy, and it might have just been a bridge too far for them to handle as we transition into the last third of the map. Gonna be able to get back over that 400 combo cap, but that's 10,000 points by virtue of the fact that Venyas and Summit and Erase Self are above that 99.9% mark. Just the leaps and bounds in which these maps can really spiral out of control is something to behold as we approach this last 8th of the map. Lucas finding yet another drop, going to solidify the Swedish lead on this Rice 4 pick.
Yeah, and Sweden going to be able to keep themselves alive. Spain does have one more pick left in this match, so they have the pick of the litter to try and close this match out. 37,340. No 200s, no bad judgments except for those 2 misses from Lucas. It still would have gone Sweden's way, even if those misses didn't happen, but that would have been mad close.
Oh yeah, that inside of what, maybe 1,000-point difference if everybody V1SS that. It's literally, you have to count up the 300 counts.
It will be 27 300s of difference between the two teams.
Thank you. That is ridiculous. But also, this is how core check maps go. You V1SS or you V1SS with some misses. No in between.
That's how it goes. You said it, quintessential core jack score.
Yep. So, behold, that is what happens. Either that or you get a bunch of 50s, like the last round. But regardless, I mean, if you're Spain, you would have hoped to have gotten that one, but there's really no harm, no foul. It feels like they have more avenues of approach, or they've established that they have more avenues of approach in this match. So, kind of just dust it off, go for literally anything else. Whoa. It feels like. Oh,
Wait, so Spain's not going to pick their protect in this match.
Interesting.
I was going to mention, you're absolutely right. I think there's a lot of avenues that Spain can go down if they want to take them. But not picking their protect in this match is very interesting.
Maybe they just like it a little more. Oh. Pick strategy is something that I've been trying to decode for 5 years at this point. No, I can't get in the heads of these teams no matter how hard I try.
I make the joke that I don't understand what Brazil specifically is thinking. And I say that because I have a history with Brazil in the World Cups.
Yeah.
With being on the 4Key US team meant that Brazil was enemy number 1 at all times, and we never knew what they were doing. And in commentating all these matches in 7-key and 4-key, even in other game modes, I never know what they're doing. And it spreads to every other team philosophy, that exists.
Yes. No, they pick up on how heated it gets you, and now they're just okay, what's the funniest pick we can make?
It's specifically to mess with my head. That's why they do it.
Yes, they're all attempting to gaslight you as well. Welcome to the year 2026. So, regardless, Rice 5 is the pick.
9 years. They can stop at this point.
The bit's funnier when you repeat it 9 times. So, I don't know what you're talking about. So, regardless, Rice 5 is the bed that Spain has chose. They now have to lay in it, and so far, it's a pretty hot start. Erase Self lagging a little bit behind in terms of the overall accuracy in the lobby, but I think that's been the tail of the tape, just them making that recovery run. Venya's kind of supporting the beam for Sweden and keeping this lead in check against Spain, because they have the highest accuracy in the lobby. Summit and Lucas not anywhere close to contest against them, and the onus really falls on Spain to not drop any further as Erase Self begins to make this recovery run, now back up over that 99.3 mark, and now it starts to swing over to Sweden.
Lucas finding a couple of accuracy drops. I think both players on Spain actually finding a little bit of accuracy trouble, and that 99.8 now even more important from Sweden, as no one's finding any drops, and Sweden looks to be taking the lead halfway through, but it's still so close. And Luca is continuing to drop, actually nearly matching now Erase Self's accuracy, and now the advantage squarely in the side of Sweden. Though that still only amounts to about 500 points of lead. And Venez finds a break! And Spain, trying to take advantage of only a quarter of the map left, might run away with it.
Oh, who needs accuracy when you can combo? And Summit has now eclipsed Venez in terms of overall accuracy, basically going toe-to-toe with them, but by virtue of having the full combo on their side, able to balloon this to 9,000 points. Everybody hitting that nasty transition into this outro. And as things stand, Spain looking poised to take it. Anything can still happen here at this ending, but they have done more than enough. Shaky start at the beginning, but it looks like they're going to be able to swing it out. Spain takes this match by a score of 5-2.
Wow, that was really close. And Sweden just barely not able to take that breakpoint back. And Spain going to escape with a victory here in the round of 32 and move on in the winner's bracket. Luckily for us, we don't have to say goodbye to Sweden. They just unfortunately moved down to the loser's bracket. So we'll get to see them performing next week as well. And seeing how they did here, I would be worried if I was facing Sweden in the loser's bracket, especially this upcoming week where the pool still stays at a relatively act-based level with Sweden just putting on a great performance, but Spain able to persevere and move on.
Absolutely. Kudos to them. Able to keep their winners bracket run alive for another weekend. Be interesting to see how they perform as the pools progress here. But with that being said, we only got one more match for the weekend. It is going to be Germany going up against Mexico to round things out at the top of the hour. So we're going to take about a 20-minute break here as we eagerly await to see that matchup. If it's anything like this one, I am expecting fireworks, and I'm hoping we're going to get a hell of a good time. What do you say, Toph? What do you think?
Oh yeah, I'm really excited. And again, it's one of those mid-seed, very close seed-wise matchups. This time it's seed 14 versus 19, so very close to what we just saw. And if we could end the weekend with a tiebreaker, that'd be awesome. But you'll have to wait and see. But not too long. Like Sparky said, it'll just be about 20 minutes. So make sure you stick around and be here for the final match of the weekend: Germany versus Mexico. We'll see you guys then.
Take care, y'all.